As far back as I can remember, I always wanted to be a gangster. To me, being a gangster was better than being president of the United States. Even before I first wandered into the cab stand for an after-school job, I knew I wanted to be a part of them. It was there that I knew that I belonged. To me, it meant being somebody in the neighborhood that was full of nobodies. They weren't like anybody else. I mean, they did whatever they wanted. They double parked in front of a hydrant, and nobody ever gave them a ticket. In the summer, when they played cards all night, nobody ever called the cops. Tutty Cicero. Tutty ran the cab stand in La Bella Vista Pizzeria and a few other places for his brother Paul, who's the boss over everybody in the neighborhood. Paulie might have moved slow, but it was only because Paulie didn't have to move for nobody. At first, my parents loved that I found a job across the street. My father, who was Irish, was sent to work at age 11, and he liked that I got myself a job. He used to say American kids were spoiled lazy. And my mother was happy when she found out the Barrios came from the same part of Sicily as she did. To my mother, it was the answer to her prayers. I was the luckiest kid in the world. I could go anywhere. I could do anything. I knew everybody and everybody knew me. But it wasn't long before my parents changed their minds. To them, the cab stand was supposed to be a part-time job. But to me, it was full-time. That's something people like my father could never understand, that I was a part of something. I belonged. I was treated like a grown-up. Every day, I was learning to score. My father was always pissed off. He was pissed he had to work so hard. He was pissed he made such lousy money. He was pissed there were 7 of us living in a tiny house. But after a while, he was mostly pissed that I hung around the cab stand. He said that they were bums and that I was a bum. He said I was going to get into trouble. I used to say I only ran errands after school, but he knew better. He knew what went on in the cab stand. And every once in a while, usually after he got his load on, I had to take a beating. But at that point, I didn't care. No matter how many beatings I took, I wouldn't listen to what he said. I don't think I even heard him. The way I saw it, everybody has to take a beating sometime. And that was it. No more letters from truant officers. No more letters from school. In fact, no more letters from anybody. How could I go back to school and pledge allegiance to the flag and sit through good government bullcrap? Hundreds of guys depended on Paulie, and he got a piece of everything they made. It was tribute, just like the old country, except they were doing it in America. All they got from Paulie was protection from other guys looking to rip them off. That's what it's all about. That's what the FBI could never understand, that what Paulie and the organization does is offer protection for people who can't go to the cops. They're like the police department for wise guys. People looked at me differently. They knew I was with somebody. I didn't have to wait in line at the bakery on Sunday morning anymore for fresh bread. The owner knew who I was with, and he'd come from around the counter. No matter how many people were waiting, I was taken care of first. Our neighbors didn't park in our driveway anymore, even though we didn't have a car. At 13, I was making more money than most of the grown-ups in the neighborhood. I had more money than I could spend. I had it all. One day, some of the kids in the neighborhood carried my mother's groceries all the way home for her. It was out of respect